Riddle me this. If life is not a simulation, where at some point we spawn back into this reality, why do they hand out double life sentences or life sentences plus this many years? I think it's because that they are aware that how the system, this reality, this realm, this game works. Therefore, they are condemning your spirit to a very similar lifestyle, which will realign you with prison or slavery. So to that, think about when teachers are talking about, or even society, we can see a child's path. They have probably already been here where they have already received a double life sentence or a life sentence plus something. So at this point, they are aligned with the spell that has already been cast over their spirit. So I also have been thinking about, if you watched my previous video about this reality being a simulation or life itself just being a simulation, think about them showing us the process of them making the beaches in Dubai. Upon my research, I found that they've also made beaches in America, like they're man-made beaches in New York. But we overlook this stuff, and just after a while, it's just what it is. I'm sure in 50, 60 again years, the beaches in Dubai that we know that they created are going to be seen as like natural. Doubling down on my tree farm that I talk about, that you can see if you go through the South. If we think about the fact that there are no female trees in nature, there are zero female trees in nature, and there is nothing natural about that, which is why in the South we have so much pollen, which is also why there are no fruit-bearing trees that are just out in nature. There are no nut-bearing trees that you will just find out in nature, which automatically implies that everything we know to be natural has been created by man to resemble man. Hold on to that. Again, all the trees are male trees, which is why pollen is crazy, which is why we don't have fruit and nuts just falling on the streets. It's all been created. Back to the illusion that we all just take as our reality. Have you ever wondered how is it that a bus that has two passenger seats on this side, two passenger seats on the other side, and an aisle big enough that a stroller can fit through, it fits in the same lane that a regular car fits in? How? No, seriously, how? How is that bus fitting in the same lane that this car is fitting in? And my last and final, well, probably not my final, but my last one for this video would be, what holds the water when they are creating the dam? So what temporary dam do they use to create the real dam to hold the water? Because what? So yeah. I want to circle back, however, to the original thing of why do they do the life sentences? I really, that has stumped me ever since it popped up in my brain, which is I feel that they know that there is something beyond this life, this reality. In my head, I'm just flowing at this point again. I don't think that the planets are real places, in a sense of physical places that we can get to in this body. That doesn't make sense to me. How is it that we have an ionosphere that is strong enough to break down meteors, right, before they touch Earth, but is weak enough that a man-made object can escape it to go to space? It does not make sense. So back to my theory. I don't think that the planets are physical places for us to experience in this physical body, in this meat suit. I think that they are realms or reality that once we escape Earth and we no longer spawn back here, that those are places that we get to travel to. I think that they are aware of that. They are probably better realms. To sound very sinister, I think that this realm, Earth, is hell. And I know when I say this, no, it's not, that's so. I promise I'm not being pessimistic. It is a matter of fact to me, which is why the pursuit of happiness is something that we are given here. It is not something that everyone has. It is not something everyone would experience. It is also fleeing. So even once you get it, it might be gone today in a couple of minutes because it's only the pursuit. And in that, I think of the bunny with the carrot in front of his head, and you're constantly chasing it to the day that you die. That kind of sounds like hell. And so I think that they are also, also going back to the fact that no one escapes this life without working in some way. Now, I'm talking from my frequency, right? So my frequency and the ones below me, because I've not experienced the frequencies above me. So in those frequencies, they may not experience work in the way that we know it, right? Or slavery, essentially, in the way that we know it to be. But when I see a Rihanna, a Beyonce, all of the, I'm sorry, I'm like, ah! So, but when I think of all of the entertainers that we know, that seems like slavery to me. It actually seems like a cage. It seems like hell. Like, think about the fact that I've gotten to this place where I cannot go for a walk without having security. I can't go to a grocery store. I can't live a normal life in this realm because that does not seem peaceful to me. Or when I see Mary J. Blige or Ron Isley, and I'm naming the people who are familiar to me, but I'm sure like uh, the lady from Tennessee, Betty Parton, y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, they're still performing. Like at their 80 years, 90 years old, they're still performing. And yeah, it could be a love of the game, but who wants to work? Like at some point, even your favorite job becomes work, right? Like I've always wanted to be a basketball player. And then when you become a basketball player, it's like, damn, bro, this shit, it's work now. And so when I see 80, 90-year olds still working, like, yeah, there may still be a love for it, but I also think that we've been programmed to work here until we can't physically, till we physically can't. Again, hell. But again, when I think of the other realms, I'm like, I think that those offer more and they do exist. Just like I said, not in a physical place where we can get to them. But when they go back, I'm sorry, I'm talking. So when they sentence people to, again, a life, double life sentences and things like that, they are aware, they know, right? Like they know what this is. If they didn't, then what would be the purpose in that? And because we also understand that one, this is a spiritual realm and the word has power. There's power in the tongue. There's someone who you are sitting below casting a spell over your spirit from not just this life, but even when you spawn back. So at this point you were not able to reach whatever, you're not able to reach the other planets, the other realms. You're stuck here in this hell or purgatory, whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of my theory. I actually have a picture. I'm gonna look for it and tag it at the end of this. But I had a picture I created, I want to say like in 2015, where I'm saying just that I think that once we complete our mission here, everybody has a different mission, but I also think that we have a global, a community mission that we're all supposed to get to. I think that we're failing currently, but that's a whole nother tangent. But on a personal level, we all have missions here that we're supposed to complete. And once completed, I think that will allow us to escape this purgatory, this hell, this realm called Earth, to go to the other planets because they do exist. But again, we are not able to get to them in this body. It doesn't make sense. But tell me what y'all think.